Hello and welcome to Sport Intellect Podcast. And as you can see from the big smile on my face, Chennai Super Kings have come out on top in yesterday's El Clasico. So I have with me Abel, Sandibani, and a rather disappointed Sanjeet with me. Um, El Clasico yesterday of the Indian Premier League, the 33rd match, but rather dull. I mean, it's not dull, but obviously full of action, but rather a difficult match for both the teams on both the sides. It was not a match where you felt, where it became close due to the amazing performances, rather a lot of mistakes, a kitty full of mistakes actually. So I'll start with you, Sanjeev. How is the scenes in, 7-0? How is the feeling?
Yeah, it's
Because the
like
series was
Drake's
new to all
song
of us.
started from the bottom, but in reverse. So like we started from the top and working our way down again. But I mean I don't know how many matches I can go saying giving different excuses, giving different reasons as to why it's not working anymore. But then I guess it is what it is. I mean we don't even have the home ground excuse anymore now. Like every ground is our home ground. So I don't know, but I mean, yesterday's match, let's not talk about how bad Mumbai did because they have been doing so over the season. But yesterday it went rather close because of the amount of mistakes that were made by CSK. You would not expect someone like a Jadeja dropping two catches, right? And I would not call them something out of his reach or something that requires some amount of magical effort, no, right? And nothing of that sort either. So a lot of mistakes that got the game close, but from the position that they were in at the end of 16 overs of the second innings, I feel Mumbai Indians should have been able to close that game. On that note, Jaydev Unadkat proved himself to be mentally unstable on two occasions. So I'm, I don't know why I'm making the
You're
face. You
going too
cannot bowl
far,
a
I
ball on the,
mean.
you cannot bowl a full ball on the leg stump like that in the
No,
18th
no,
or the
I think
19th.
no. I'll disagree with that. That ball was really good, a leg stump Yorker, but
If you are
then
wrong,
Dhoni
if you are a
just looked at
130
it.
pace bowler, that is not a good ball.
No. It was a
Oh,
really good ball. If any other batsman, he would have actually missed it. You saw the ball he balled to this guy. What's his name? Pretorius, first ball. That was similar ball, but then to Dhoni, you don't ball there. That's all I would say.
Yeah, and I mean it's like this teaches the importance of homework. So like the kids who do not do their homework, they make the same mistake again and again. So I mean I don't know. I'm pretty sure most of the Mumbai fans missed Basil Thampi yesterday. They're like, oh my god, he should have been there. So it's not even about good and bad anymore. It's about bad and less bad. So as far as my team is concerned, I have very few things left to say. Rohit Sharma in the last four press conferences has come out to say that I take responsibility and you haven't seen our performance yet, and his score has kept on decreasing by half every consecutive innings from then on. But as far as a problem is considered for Mumbai Indians, I feel the opening conundrum has to be solved. You cannot have your both the openers going for dark or like not having any partnership at all, innings after innings. All right, I think the first game the Mumbai played, I think Ishan Kishan got a good 80. Even the second game that they played, even Rohit got a good 40. Ishan got a half century again. After that, they have just lost their mojo. I'm not even talking about them getting 50s every innings, but at least you have to give you can't be 40 for 2 and 40 for 3 in almost every power play. That's not acceptable. So that problem is persistent, and the gap should be bridged, but the bridge just seems longer and longer as every game goes by. Bumrah bowled well yesterday. I should not take it away from him, but then he's been doing that over the season, and he's been played out very casually. So not a problem. Pretty happy with how Pretorius played yesterday. A lot of us wanted to see more of him, so it was nice to see him, hit the ball. Happy to see Dhoni though. I mean, it's
yeah.
not a sight many people get to see. I think as much as we hate the team that wears yellow, I feel everybody likes to see one man play every now and then. It's like you want Dhoni to score 80, but you want the team to lose. Like that sort of a situation. You wanted him to score 14 runs of the last four balls, not 16. But unfortunately, it is what it is, and I mean, I think it was nice to see him, and the balls did not come off his edge, or there weren't rash shots. He looked at the ball, stayed in the crease, hit them well. So credit to him. At the end of the day, he is who he is because he does what he does, and I didn't think we deserved the win anyways. So
I think by the end of the 20th over, none of the teams deserved a win. It was not a good show from any of the camps. I mean, speaking about it from the side of CSK as well, it's not a good show, and they dropped a lot of catches, and probably the one man who could have saved them from yesterday's game was Dhoni. 20th over. I mean, looking over, he's got a strike rate of 285 after yesterday's game, and Jaydev Unadkat is someone whom he loves a lot. So maybe a bit of a lack of homework that was done by Mumbai as well, or maybe it was just by the end of the day the calculations just failed, and he started off well. I mean, Unadkat didn't have a bad match yesterday except for that final over. And Mumbai paces, I think Mumbai bowling really brought CSK back. That target was not very difficult. Was a very difficult one to defend. I think Mumbai played really well, but maybe the kind of start that they had, there was no coming back from it. But let's just move on to the next match now. I suppose the less spoken about yesterday, the better. And we're moving on to a very exciting match today. Delhi Capitals versus the RR. And I'm sorry, Sandipani, we have to move forward. I know you had a lot to say to Sanjay, but
I have no energy to listen to it.
Yeah, sorry. No, no, I didn't get your question. Sorry, there was
I'm
something.
saying I'm saying we have to
There
move
was no
on.
question.
Because I knew you had a lot to say
Yeah.
to Sanjit today.
No, no. I just want to say I'm just here to enjoy Mumbai Indians loss, Sanjit's loss. Sanjit is in disarray. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying every bit of it.
I think
And
all
also, what do you think? Yeah, what do you think about Devil Brevis coming in at number 3 and playing like that? No game awareness.
I mean,
I still feel
I
you should
mean,
give Tim David the chance.
okay, dude. You're gonna make me come there. aren't you?
I mean,
I think
there is nothing much to talk about a game where a team has been losing 7 out of 7. So let's
I
move on
think
to the
right
next game.
now Sanjay's position is equivalent to Ishan Kishan when he got out to Mukesh Chaudhary. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Except
all
except
ends up.
Ishan Kishan is
No
disappointed, has
idea
been
what to
disappointed
do.
in 12 games,
And
have
there
been
was that
disappointed in all
imagery
games.
is probably what Mumbai Indians management is at right now. But let's talk about today's match. Um, let's put the table first up. I think this is probably the scenario where you have half of the matches have been played. This I think 34th match. So that's the next match tomorrow. We'll be hitting the halfway mark of in Indian Premier League. And what a serious season it has been. I think no one expected it to be this topsy turvy. Now we're looking at Delhi Capitals who are at number 6 and Rajasthan who are at number 3, and they've had completely different matchups. Delhi are coming off 3 losses and 2 wins, and Rajasthan are coming off 3 wins and 2 losses. So it's completely opposite spectrum of the table as well. Let's begin with you, Abel. Delhi Capitals, they had a very strong show. They made Punjab Kings look like a bunch of schoolyard boys. They completely bullied their batting lineup, and then when it just seemed like the horror show was over, David Warner and Prithvi Shaw just came and had a sequel to their first innings. Now, do you think this Delhi Capitals will take that match? Those are the kind of matches where you get into the groove and just completely
Yeah.
start, changing their fortunes.
Rightly pointed out by you, because these kind of matches really help a team to come together, number one. And also looking at the situations, adversity either binds you or breaks you. So it looks like it has certainly binded them so far. And now going ahead, I reckon, their net run rate is the best in the tournament if you look at the table. And I'm
Hmm.
sure that they can compete with any team up there in top four. So if they win today, they're getting into the top four. Last week, a match before that, you're saying that, okay, they're relinquishing at the bottom of the table, but all of a sudden you are going to see them in top 3. I think they're going to be going at number 3 in the table if they win today. So that's the kind of impact that win has done to them. And of course, when you have players like David Warner and Prithvi Shaw in your batting lineup, you expect them to bat a certain way. And that's why they're paid big bucks as well, right? To finish games off, help them finish games off like this. And they did it rightly so. And Punjab, I don't want to talk about them at all because they keep doing this time and time again, and they keep disappointing people because it's such a horrific show by Punjab. I can't even think about anything like this because they keep on doing this. They deceive people in the starting of a season, saying, "See, we have a very good team. We've got the hard hitters like Bairstow, Liam Livingston, Shikhar Dhawan, Mayank Agarwal." But then every single time and during the mid-season, they just break down, they just fall apart. I don't know if it's the coaching staff that's a problem or it's the team management that's a problem. Whatever it is, it's just bad for Punjab, and I just hope it gets better for them only. And talking about Delhi Capitals, Of course, they're going to miss Ricky Ponting today in the dressing room because apparently his family members are tested positive for COVID and they have to isolate him and also his family. So, knowing Delhi Capitals, he's the one who calls shots for them from the dressing room. So today it's going to be a huge test for Rishabh Pant, the captain, as well, because he's not going to be having the guidance of Ricky Ponting from the dressing room at all. So it's going to be very interesting as to how they approach against Rajasthan Royals. They're fielding first today and they're sticking with the same lineup. So which means Onvik Norke is not yet fit to be in the lineup as well. Altogether, they're a very good side. Looks like a team which will be contending for title if they get certain areas right as well. As you talk about Delhi Capitals, one of the biggest positive for Delhi Capitals has been Khalil Ahmed's bowling because people are not noticing about it. But this guy has been running and delivering on the wickets, so which means they're not feeling the whole of Avesh Khan or Rabada of last year. But this guy has been doing a very decent job alongside him and Mustafizur Rahman. He's been doing very good because all the limelight has been on Kuldeep Yadav. That's why we're not talking about the other two bowlers as well. And even Akshar Patel back in form is a huge positive for them going ahead. And another bowler is Lalit Yadav as well. So altogether, they look like a very well-rounded, balanced unit. I think they will be a title contender.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, Sandeep, let's talk about Rajasthan then. They're coming out of a win against your favorite team. I mean, that was a great comeback from Rajasthan. They brought the game out of nowhere. They're also on a high, actually. I mean, it's been some time we haven't seen them in action. But do you think now, I mean, this team, especially the fact that, they're coming back from a win, I mean, they look very good as a batting unit. And Yuzvendra Chahal is going to be coming up against, his good mate, Kuldeep Yadav. So let's just talk about that now. Let's see which of the two leg spinners do you think is going to be much more vital for their team?
I think both the leg spinners have their roles to play because I, speaking about when we are comparing these two teams with other teams, they have a far more balanced bowling unit than most of the teams, is what I feel. Because Rajasthan Royals has Trent Bolt, Prasidh Krishna, Ashwin, and Obed McCoy. So I won't put it on team. Like the last day against KKR, the pitch was completely favoring the batsman. So you won't fault the bowlers on going for runs in that pitch. So I think Rajasthan has a pretty balanced bowling unit. Same goes for Delhi. Shardul Thakur has not been performing, and yet Delhi are finding themselves in a decent position. They're in the middle of the table and with a very good net run rate. Although I feel the win against Punjab Kings were more their wrongdoing than Delhi Capitals success. Punjab Kings played a horrific game, as Abel mentioned. But putting that aside, a win is a win, and Delhi Capitals will be coming in to this game with a lot of confidence. Having said that, I feel this time around one of the openers will go in early, either Pant or Warner will get dismissed early. Even in the last game, we saw that Pant was facing issues with the in-swinger coming in. Prithvi Shaw was facing issue with the in-swinger coming in. Vaibhav Arora bowled that third delivery, which he got an inside edge of it, and then he played and missed got a few outside edges which flew past third man. So I think he has been getting the runs, but not in the most convincing way. Prithvi Shaw and Trent Bolt has a very good matchup against him. I think he has dismissed him 3 times for some 19 runs. So I think RR will fancy their chances on picking up a wicket early in the power play, and then it will be interesting to see how Delhi goes with their batting order. Whether Sarfaraz comes in at number 3 or Pant takes up the responsibility. As Abel mentioned, that Ponting won't be there this time around. Ponting has been a huge support for them from the dressing room. He has given them most of the nowadays most of the tactics and strategies. These come from the team management itself. Captains are just on the field implementing the ideas. So I feel it will be a test of Rishabh Pant's character as a captain, and also Delhi's batting unit will be tested against the RR.
Fair enough.
Speaking about Kuldeep and Chahal, I feel Chahal will have a greater impact on the game.
No, I mean, I think at least if you look at the wickets that have been taken, Chahal is a slightly bit on top. But it's going to be interesting, these two coming against each other, and both of them are on top of their form. Sanjit, over to you now. Let's talk about Delhi Capitals. I think obviously we saw them yesterday. We saw how well they performed. Well, not yesterday, sorry. Against Punjab, their batting looked really good. Obviously, it was a smaller target, so they had the freedom. But both of them, the way they played, the fluency that they showed. But what happens when, if I mean, when obviously in a tournament like IPL, the quality bowling that they'll face, there will be times when both of the openers don't play. Then do you
Right.
think Delhi has an issue with the fact that, aside from their openers, their middle order looks a little, shaky?
I think that is the only issue they have, firstly. And secondly, I have seen no reason how they can, fill it. Alright. But again, as far as form is concerned, they've been doing a good job, and at least one of them has been coming good more often than not. And the previous game was good, and it was a good confidence trying to get, uh, ball in the middle of a bat. I think the previous game would, put them in a zone of, I won't say comfort, but at least, as far as maybe Prithvi or David Warner is concerned, see, this pitch is great for batting. All right. I mean, some turn is expected. It's not like it's green or something, but it is a kind of pitch where maybe a Shaw or a Warner would like to bat on. All right. The only problem is if, say, maybe an Ashwin, or if Ashwin is given the bowling in the power play, a couple of overs, or even Chahal takes in, early. I feel I do not know, because there is turn, right? There is no hiding away from that. And if at all they're able to maybe get Warner's wicket, then it is pretty much all the Pant follows and Rahman Powell is okay with his batting. Sarfraz Khan got a little time in the middle the previous time around, but I don't know, should help. I really don't know what happens if they lose a wicket maybe in the first over. Does Pant come into bat, right? Or do they send in Sarfraz Khan? Do they send in Rahman Powell? Because all three look like wrong choices, right? So that is the concern. As far as the bowling concerned, bowling looks okay, but yeah, if maybe Rajasthan can get into that number three, number four batsman in the first couple of overs, like how it happened with Mumbai or Chennai yesterday, I feel it would be a much easier game for Rajasthan, because their batting looks much more settled today. Karun Nair is there, so I assume so. See, that's the problem. If Rajasthan Royals, maybe a Butler gets out early, then maybe he gets out the first ball, all right, and Samson feels it's better for him to go in maybe seventh, eighth over in the later stage. So Nair can come in, right? Delhi do not have that luxury, because any option after 3, 4, 5 is like they aren't the kind of people who you would most recommend to come in and do the job for them. So that is the problem they have. Also, Shaw and Warner are both susceptible. I mean, if maybe Trent Bolt can swing the ball in from a length, can swing a length ball in, all right. Shaw is very susceptible for the ball, to go towards short point or something of that sort. So it is a possibility today, but let's see. I mean, this team has they haven't disappointed at least, right? So I'm pretty sure someone will come up with something or the other and should be okay. So I don't know. Maybe Sarfaraz Khan can just be the person who comes in early, or maybe you do not see him on the 15th over. Also, never know. I mean, you've seen people carry on the purple patch for a long period of time in the IPL. Maybe the same can happen today again. So we'll see.
Fair enough. Yeah, but same question to you, but in context of Rajasthan.
Right.
They have once again, they have always been over reliant, it seems, on Josh Butler, and when Butler plays, they look really good.
Hmm.
How, I mean, how big much of a problem is their middle order as well? Probably Sanjay Samson showed some glimpses, but he's not been coming in regularly as much as maybe Butler has.
Yeah. I mean, I think both the teams are equally balanced on that front because both the teams are reliant on their top order, and both the teams' wicketkeeper batsmen haven't, their captains haven't come into the fore yet, and even the lower middle order is filled with young, inexperienced players like Riyan Parag. And on the other end, you have Lalit Yadav. But then I'll give slightly an edge to Delhi over the Rajasthan over here because of Hetmeyer. Because Hetmeyer has done very well. If you look at those positions where the team has been put under, especially against Lucknow, and even one of the other matches as well, where he played a very good knock. I'm not able to remember which match it was. So yeah, he's been able to pull through Rajasthan even under a tough situation. So that's one thing which you have to give it to him. He's done a very good job as a batsman batting in those positions. Helping the team finish off the good scores. But whereas you look at Delhi, after Rishabh Pant, you really do not have a batsman. Rahman Powell hasn't really come into the party like you expect a Hetmeyer to do. So he's still struggling over there. And you have Lalit Yadav and Akshar Patel, who is not the most trustworthy batsman out there. They might deliver you a one or two over occasion like they did against Mumbai Indians, but you don't expect them to do it more often than not. But that's where I think Rajasthan slightly holds the edge. But Rajasthan also will be concerned when it comes to Riyan Parag's form, because he's not done well yet. Everybody's questioning his place in the side as to how long will you give him a rope, especially in an IPL team like this where you have a lot of stakes involved, where he's not performed. He's averaging 15 in IPL cricket. That's very bad for a player who's batting at number four, number five, number six. And I was in a Twitter space earlier on, and Crazy Jones had mentioned about how Riyan Parag bats at number three, number four for Assam, and that's where
Yes.
you feel Riyan Parag should be batted at number three instead of Karun Nair. I also have a similar view because when a batsman is batting number three, number four all his life in his domestic team, and all of a sudden you're coming into an IPL where you have quality ballers balling in the death overs, go out there and finish matches. Never easy for any player because this style of play is totally different. It's like asking Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli to go do bat at number six, number seven. It's not. They are not. That's not their forte because all their life they're batting at the top of the order. That's what you expect them to do. That's where Delhi tried to use Sarfraz Khan a similar role. That's why I felt that was also a very, very miserable call from them to use him at number five, number six, because Sarfraz Khan is a top order batsman. If you want the best out of him, you should bat him at number four or number three at least, number three or number four at least. And that's something they should do with same level as Riyan Parag. He should bat number three for this team if they really want to continue playing with him, or else switch him and bring someone else. Probably they can bring. If they are playing three foreigners, I would still not have Obin Makar. I would still have Kuldeep Sen, but I have no idea why did they drop Kuldeep Sen. He had two really good games,
Yeah.
and dropping him did not make any sense to me. I would have Jimmy Neesham batting at number six at least, or Daryl Mitchell, who has done well for New Zealand in limited overs cricket or domestic circuit at least in New Zealand. They have all been there batting in those positions, and then probably shift someone like Riyan Parag at number three. Then that makes a very solid team for them. Or else, even if you look at Riyan Parag's best scores have come him batting at number four, number five, not below that.
Correct, fair enough. I think that's probably something that they should be looking at. They've tried Riyan Parag time and time again, and the finishers role. Sometimes I feel they've been trying to hold him back and bring him. I mean, on purpose in the 15th over, something like what RCB tries with Dinesh Karthik. But maybe it's a lot on the young man. I mean,
Yeah,
trying to do that, right?
I mean,
I mean,
see,
good
and as far as that is
comparing it.
concerned, it's almost criminal to maybe compare Riyan Parag to Dinesh Karthik, right?
Yeah,
Somebody who's a proven performer for maybe
Correct.
15
Yeah.
years to someone who's had a couple of. I mean, he's never had the 30 ball 70 innings, right? He's always in the 40 ball 50 when Rajasthan has been 60 for 5. So it's pretty clear. I mean,
I don't think he's even scored 50 in IPL cricket. So he's never
I
scored.
think
I
he
think
has.
he's just one score of 40. That's
Yeah,
it.
I think there's one. But apart from that, see, this question was asked even Crick Buzz. I think Harsha Bhogle or someone, maybe Zahir Khan answered. I'm not very sure. So his argument to that was, but even Virat Kohli maybe batted number six initially in his career. So did Rohit Sharma. But okay, Virat Kohli did not have a successful career at number five and six, so he was pushed up. All right, Rohit Sharma was maybe 18, 19, and the people he had to, if he had to play on the top, people had to move down maybe Herschel Gibbs and Andrew Simons. So that's unfair. All right. Whereas, I mean, of course, he did prove his mettle eventually, and even for Mumbai, he played at number four. So if your team asks you, that's what your team demands of you, and they have no other alternative, then that is the position you should be batting at. Or else, I mean, there is no reason as to why Riyan Parag should, come in after a Hetman, because that's asking something of him. It's not about asking too much. It's asking about something he can't give, right? At least currently, that is not something he can give you. So it just seems a little harsh on him also, and I know there are no performances to back as to what he has been giving either. So
I mean, Riyan Parag apparently has one half century. I think this is in
he does, he does.
2019.
Yeah, I think he
19
was
games
second or third innings
against
itself.
yeah,
Against,
he had a 50. I think that game, Rajasthan scored 115, and he was the only one who scored a 50 and kind of backed them up 50 or 49. But so that's the only half century he has. But fair point about him. I think he's coming in a bit too late, and Rajasthan have tried everyone there. They've tried Rassi Van Anderson, whom I still feel should not be just
yeah,
left out after two games. But that's
correct.
another conundrum as well because you have a lot more going around when you have a foreign player in question, and sometimes in
Yeah.
IPL it's not easy to play a pure batter foreign player,
Yeah.
but that's understood. But they haven't tried
Also,
Riyan Parag, and maybe it's
just on
time that
that
they try.
note, it
Yeah.
must be so sad to have your openers performing again and again, right? We were talking about how Shaw and Warner and maybe a Butler have been playing again and again, and what will it be if they get out early and they have no performances? And meanwhile, me, whose team has no opening performances, talks about how sad it is if at all they are performing. Openers get out early. It's just, I don't know. So as I said, no matter, I think, doesn't matter which team you have, there will be a problem. Unless Mumbai Indians of 2017, when Butler opened, things were
Yeah.
different.
All right, guys.
That's how
We have.
depression sounds.
I suppose, Sanjeet, now probably the next few matches of IPL is just for you to enjoy, just like what a Mumbai Indians have to do now, I suppose.
Yes, like I
But
was
just
enjoying
before
before.
we have a predictions coming in, right? We have 3 minutes before the match begins. So quickly, everyone, whom do you think is gonna win today? I'll start with you, Sandipani. You've been quiet for some time now.
I think Rajasthan has the edge. I finally got my team prediction right in the last game, so Rajasthan should win this one. Also, from the entire panel, what I saw is the the consensus is to drop either Riyan Parag or Karun Nair and bring in Jimmy Nisham over there and drop Obed McCoy and bring in Kuldeep Sen. That makes Rajasthan Royals a that makes them a much more balanced team. Having said that, Rajasthan should pull it off against DC uh, anyway.
Hmm. Even.
Yeah, I mean now with Delhi bowling first, I would support Delhi as well. I've been having a prediction spot on for quite a while. When yesterday I said Chennai will win. Day first I also said Delhi will win when nobody said Delhi will win. So I think Delhi is gonna win it
Um,
again.
I mean, we
Yeah.
had equal. There was one more person who said
No,
Delhi
no,
will win.
Sanjay said Delhi will win.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was an equal, proper
So yeah,
equal.
I'll have to cancel my predictions right now. So so I think Delhi will win. I'm not expecting Shaw to fire, but I'm expecting Rishabh Pant masterclass today. He has an average of 60 against his lads, so I'm expecting him to go berserk on them.
Sanjeet, what do you think? I think we have two
Uh,
Delhi there. No, one Rajasthan, one
No,
Delhi.
one Rajasthan, one Delhi. Yeah.
One Delhi, one Rajasthan. All right, Sanjeet.
tell me, Jaren, should I go with my guts or should I let my brain speak? My gut say Delhi's taking this home today, but it would rather be a shame if Rajasthan Royals cannot take it from them today. Right? I mean, all they
Hmm.
need is one breakthrough initially, and if they can get in the first couple of overs, maybe 2, 3 overs, there is no reason if Rajasthan cannot take it home from there with this batting and this bowling, then somewhere they would have to put a below par or rather bad performance. So Rajasthan should take it, but something says I don't know, maybe a Pant masterclass, maybe a Shaw, maybe a Wonder, maybe all three. Never know. We're expecting this to be a maybe we probably I think somewhere in my mind I feel this might be a 150, 160 game. Who knows? They might just go and hit 230 also. Just can't tell sometimes. So never know.
Hmm.
So let's see. But I'm let's see my predictions. I don't know,
If you
man.
have to
Don't put
choose
me in
one,
a
come
spot.
on.
Okay, let's say Delhi. Let's say Delhi. We'll go in the guts.
All right. I think from me, and I mean, my predictions have been up and down. But I'll probably go with Delhi this time around because I feel Delhi has, you know, I'm sorry, guys. If Delhi loses, it's on me. But I would say Delhi would go ahead and win because I think they're looking a lot more confident and they seem like they are men with purpose. They have something to win for as
Yeah.
compared to Rajasthan. And I think that's the reason why, as Abel rightly mentioned, when adversity comes, either a team breaks down completely or a team rises up. I mean, we saw something from, I mean, I'm not going to compare that West Indies team to this Delhi team, but the fact that they rose from,
You
that
can just compare Indian team in Australia 2021.
correct. Fair enough.
That's
Yeah. So the fact that this is something that I feel is happening with the Delhi team right now, they are much more, motivated. Taking nothing away from Rajasthan is probably why I'm going to give it to them.
yeah.
All right. I
Fair.
think 7:30 match has the match begun already?
It has two
Yes.
balls have been bowled and no
Yeah,
run
so I
has been
think it's
scored.
time for us to go and leave you to the match. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We hope to see you on the other side. Thank you all.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Sanjit ran.
We're still live.